Hello, my friends. Are you successful or failing? What makes you succeed or fail? After many years of living, I have found for myself a key, a secret, which decides the success of our life. I'm using the word of our life here. So I'm talking about a big picture of success and not just a small success in an area of life. So what was this key? Well, let me tell you some stories, true stories, and you will find that this key is very subtle, but powerful and decisive. First story, unemployment. A man I know has been out of job for more than 2 years. Usually, when we hear the word unemployment, we think of idleness, boredom, frustration, and so on. But this man is actually busy and happy. He told me that the first year of his unemployment, he lived in a state of being disappointed, upset, cranky, angry. He drove everyone crazy because he wanted to get out of that state of being, but he could not. So he felt like he was stuck. Then one night, while lying on bed, thinking and thinking, he suddenly realized that he had wasted a year of his life. He could have taken advantage of his time to do a lot of good things that he could not do when he was busy working, such as fixing and cleaning and rearranging his home to make it a better place to live, helping his wife with the housework, to understand how much she had suffered for him, or reading and learning new things, and especially spending more time with his children. A precious thing many working parents can't have. From then on, while looking for a new job, he has been busy and happy. Second story, sickness. There's a lady in New York, about 80 years old. She had a tough life. When she was a teenager, she had to leave her family to make a living far away. She then got married to a violent husband who died of drug abuse. Her daughter died of cancer about 20 years ago, and she has lived alone since then. I met her again recently. She was in a wheelchair, but she still remembered who I was, so it was good. She told me that she had not seen her son since her daughter's funeral. He told her that he had been so busy that he couldn't come to visit her. So it has been 20 long years for her. Before we said goodbye, she told me one thing that struck me a lot. She said, "For the first 10 years after my daughter passed away, I missed my son so much and I felt very lonely. 10 years in loneliness felt extremely long for me. But one day, I suddenly realized one thing and I chose to live differently. And from then on, I have felt I'm actually a fortunate person." I asked her, what would that be? She said, "I realized that I was possessing a treasure that many people did not have. Time. Instead of sitting there wailing about my situation, I could benefit from it. Though I cannot walk anymore, I still can roll my wheelchair to go see other people around here who are also alone and lonely. I can listen to them, and pray with them. How many people would have that good opportunity like me? Hearing her say that, I could only say, wow. I also knew another person, much younger, in her early 40s, a college professor, beautiful looking. She had a car accident and became paralyzed. She couldn't do things as before, of course, even her personal restroom activities. So it was very humiliating for her. When I met her in the hospital for the first time, she cried a lot and cursed her condition. I didn't know what to do or say except being there in a rather awkward and helpless way. After a while, she became calmer and more at peace. Then one day, she said something to me that was very impressive. She said, "Only when I have the privilege to be in this condition can I do things that I could not do before." Wow, I heard the words privilege and can do here. There is something very profound, very true, very radical here. Let me repeat her words so you can also reflect. Only when I have the privilege to be in this situation can I do things that I could not do before. Seeing that I was a little confused or unclear about what she meant, she continued. Last week, some friends of mine stopped by with their kids. I felt bad for them when they told me their situations. And then, when they looked at me and felt bad for my condition, I told them, "Now I know how to love God more than before because I have seen how much He loves me." One of my friends burst into tears when she heard what I said. And just yesterday, she came by and said to me, "Your words liberated me from my shallow way of seeing things. Now I decided to stop complaining and take advantage of all of my conditions and situations to be useful and meaningful, like you." Beautiful, huh? First story, traffic jam. I have a friend whose job is construction work. Now, he used to honk a lot when he drove. He got really mad when someone cut him off, or when he got stuck in traffic, he would be quite impatient and try to push his way to get out of it. Of course, you can imagine being in the same car with him was very tense and stressful. We didn't see each other for a few years, and last year we had a chance to meet again. And I realized one thing, that he did not honk or get cranky or upset when he drove anymore. So I asked him, "Okay, what happened?" And he responded with a smile, "Getting upset doesn't solve anything, except it hurts you, right?" I realized that being in the traffic jam actually gives me time to pray and think more clearly. Such a precious opportunity. And sure enough, my friends, I saw him driving while turning his little rosary ring on the index finger of his left hand. It's beautiful. So my friends, through this story so far, I bet you have discovered the key for their success. All these people have something in common. That is, They saw opportunities in their difficult situations. And they decided to do one thing. That is, they chose to be useful in any circumstances. For them, every situation brings opportunities. Taking advantage of it or not would decide the quality of life. A successful person is one who sees opportunities in difficulty, while an unsuccessful person is one who sees difficulties in opportunity. Fourth story. The story of each of us, you and me. What situation are you in right now? A situation that takes place is meant to help you develop some positive thing in life. What will you do in your situation to benefit yourself and others? A quite popular tendency or even temptation here is to think my situation is more difficult than that of others. This thinking is, of course, simply wrong. The right thinking would be, I have things that many don't have. Even people I think are doing better than me. That's the truth. Fifth story, the event on the Mount of Calvary. Everyone knows this story about three people hung on the cross that afternoon, what they did and how their lives ended. The first man was angry, cursing, challenging, provoking, and still died as a criminal. The second man saw a precious opportunity for his life, so he begged sincerely, and he became the first person who received the promise of heaven. The third man, the best-hearted person on earth, wrongly accused, was facing so deep of suffering and loneliness that he cried out, "Father, Father, why have you forsaken me?" But in this most terrible suffering, when his hands and feet were nailed to the cross, unable to do anything, even with his last breath about to stop, he still took this darkest moment as an opportunity to give the most precious gift to the criminal who was begging him sincerely. He uttered a firm promise of salvation in his last breath. Today, you will be with me in paradise. My friends, if you see yourselves overwhelmed with suffering, try this. Look at him on the cross, the crucified one, and talk to him. You'll be amazed and you'll be healed. Okay, to sum up, the key of success or failure depends on whether or not you use the opportunity already present in your situation to live usefully and meaningfully. My friends, thank you so much for reflecting with me. The secret to success is already in your hand. Use it for your good.